honest, one of my favorites to do some real damage this season. I think they're in a great spot in terms of the upgrades that they've made. And Heretics are brand new. Like, they've got a lot of very, very young players, 18-year-olds looking to make a mark. One so young he can't even play. And we are now into our pistol round. Some unique comps we haven't really seen before. And I'm excited to see what these guys have got planned.
Now already you're seeing the B side under a lot of pressure as FUT put in a decoy, CNED claiming the space, and they've taken it right off the back. Breach stun still locked and ready to be used because B isn't their final destination. They're moving all the way around. The A side challenge. Benji Fishy loses his utility alongside his life. And Patatek now is sort of isolated up there on top A. They might be forced into a retake.
I don't know how they're going to manage to do too much here. Patatek left blind already. It's going to be able to hold on to some of the space. That's the main thing here. Just having a little bit of ground so they can fight back in. The rotation's coming through, but the main man I'm looking at, well, is Mr. Fallen. If he has anything to do in the late round, Mitch, because they've already lost another member.
Yeah, they've already thinned out those numbers pretty efficiently. For Team Heretics, a way back in is looking unlikely, but well, it's a pistol. You're always going to try it. Mr. Fallen sending out that long play to end the game. The rest of his team just needs to buy time. Hold on, he's been spotted, but that doesn't matter. Clean shot by Mr. Fallen. Crack's taking advantage of the chaos, and it is going to be a flawless start from the squad of FUT. 5 ghosts, both starting the round in their hands and ending the round on the enemy team.
Yeah, and Andaluthia flawless to kick off the game, and honestly, it's not the start you want. Like, if you're a young team, you want to get hyped, you want to get going really early on in this match, give yourself a little bit to celebrate, and for kind of shutting that down very early on. And this is one of the risks. It was said by Sue on the desk, like, picking into a map that last year, okay, I feel like towards the end maybe went a little bit worse for FUT, but one that they were ultimately confident on the entire year. And I think the only reason they got worse was because they didn't really change anything, because their old comp was so good for them. You're going to take them there, but that means you have to start defense. And this map, historically, has been very attack-sided. Like, a lot of teams able to even lose a half 10-2, still come back in the end.
I like the idea here from Team Heretics to play early aggression on A main. We're going to see that from a lot of teams, I think, on those ecos. Running it down, trying to challenge, using up their flash as well from the get-go to slow any sort of assault. But FUT are patient, right? They can just play the map control on this, 2 on each extremity, 1 up the middle, and it's a waiting game, seeing when Heretics are going to take that step out of place. Expectations for this round, especially here, like, now that they've been pushed to spreading across the map, I don't expect Team Heretics to get a lot done. If they can find a couple of kills, it'd be huge.
It's not looking great.
It's not, is it? As expected,
does your curse still carry on? Do we carry that on from last year?
They win at 2v5 now. I'll accept it, but
okay.
They're doing the right thing grouping up, but the first challenge is going to be out of captain. This isn't a guy that's been slapped.
Sorry, what was that?
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. The rest of the rounds will be secured nicely.
Yeah, 4 players still. They're going to manage to keep up those extra rifles as well, so this bonus round is going to have, well, I was going to say a little bit of bite, but they've actually bought back up on the remaining rifles as well. So this is going to be a tough one. You have to bear in mind as well that you do have a couple of those sort of low armor players. And well, in all honesty, only 1 man currently on the board in terms of the fragging department. This is where you want to see Heretics really turn things around.
As these barriers go up and rifles are in hand, that same challenge over A main. We saw it with Classics before, and, well, FUT just ignored it. They see that same utility, and the response is, well, not exactly the same. Last time, they defaulted across the map, 2-1-2. Now, 5 on the left-hand side. Nobody else anywhere to be seen. It's going to be a C push by the looks of things. For Team Heretics, that puts the pressure onto Patatek and Benji Fishy. The thing is, if you look at the agents they're playing, those are the perfect agents to lock down a site, so to speak. We'll see if they can actually find the value for it already, bypassing utility with the Yoru, but he's isolated, you know, he's kept back for a moment. What's happened to Benji?
Oh, he's got a little bit lost, it feels. Sectioned into the back corner of the site, and well, that 1-man army hasn't managed to get anything done. In fact, they are slowly being wiped out. The lurk of Yedajay as well is going to put another in the dirt. And well, I'm already starting to get a little bit worried. As said, for a team with little experience, brand new on the block, you want a good start. You don't want to allow FUT to start running away with things. And I don't feel like they've had to do anything too crazy. Like some fairly basic executions. I'm also, I want to say, I'm excited to see CNED's Yoru, mainly for reasons of has it got better than when it was on the last team? Because obviously, one thing with Yoru, I feel like communication is actually really important. Like the timing of everything, we saw him flash teammates quite a lot last year, but now he's communicating in Turkish again. Yedajay, well, he's going to make it even more costly for them. A chance for Miniboo to at least get onto the board, maybe hold the gun, but caught going down the rope. And a 3-0, very clean as well from FUT.
Yeah, it's the upgrades, it's the kills being so dominant, and the fact that you have that little slip up, the jitters on stage, stepping into the aftershock. Now look, where did he have to go? There was utility behind him. Maybe you could have found a small gap, but it's the fact that he gets trapped in that situation in the first place. You have to give commendations to FUT for having that execute so well planned out before they even set foot on the site. They have a player down.
I thought there'd be like a reaction or something there from the coach, so they're just like...
They're just accepting their fate for now.
That did happen. Our representatives of the UK scene. I know Mitch is a big fan.
You know me, Tom. Just can't get enough.
To be fair, I've been watching a little bit of Polaris, and there are some Irish players up and coming. That you can finally build a 5-player team of Irish players.
Wow.
Genuinely.
Tom said something nice about the Irish scene. This is going to my...
I was impressed.
It's going to my diary. Remember, in this day...
They also played a Deadlock, so, you know, they're innovating as well.
I do wonder when we're going to get to see some Deadlock here. It's a team that's very much looking to innovate. We'll pull it out eventually. Team Heretics, lots of players walking through that orb, and CNED, ooh, he almost got caught. The flash is good. The damage is even better. Out of Captain's down, and CNED doesn't want anything to do with this. Backing off a little bit, popping the flash to slow them, but they're going to redirect to B. Team Heretics are here ahead of them, though. Miniboo sure is already there, but here comes Thrash coming close. Destroyed in time. Yedajay can't hold on. Some good kills for Team Heretics. Some signs of life starting to shine through. C didn't work, B didn't work. What's next? Well, one left, isn't there? They're on their way to A.
And luckily, unlike most maps, they actually have a third option to go for. Boo actually has a full belt of utility, but doesn't even need it. That's going to be Mr. Fallen falling. And leaving just 2 players surviving for FUT a chance in this round. They've already committed an ultimate to it, Mitch, so for the Heretic side, this needs to be a win. You
know, they could go looking for upgrades. There are rifles sitting around, but it's all about time. They want to get up and in this fight quickly. Cracks alongside CNED, looking to hold the line, and CNED's good for the first. Cracks stepping in, ult available, but not needed. Well handled by Cracks and FUT. They get the round. I don't know they're going to be ecstatic about that up against Sheriffs, but hey, look, they saved themselves from a disastrous reawakening of Heretics early on.
Yeah, the fact is, they've got the budget, that it doesn't really matter too much. The last rounds, they lost 2 players total, so they've got plenty of finances available. That's the thing, though. When you're on the Heretic side, that means that this round needed to be a win. Like, it couldn't just be a round where you did a little bit of extra damage, because that's not going to affect your opponents whatsoever. And now they come in, you've used one of your ultimates, and they still have a couple left. The Dimensional Drift, Thrash available. The defense, though, wow, they're not even going to give CNED a chance to do anything.
Yeah, he was stuck in this dimension, unfortunately. Unable to shift in time. It's the A site that's under threat.
It gave the thing of like, he's looking at you. It's like, he's not, he's dead.
He was looking at you. Not anymore. Well, the ult's going to be saved. Picked back up to use again. At least cleared out like a recon drone that you get a second shot at. The stun is good. That slowed them down. Benji Fishy, though, still steaming ahead. Taking the corner. Miniboo and Boo combined. They've given their team a real chance with just Mr. Fallen. Now 1 versus 5. What a clutch it would be. But not today. The first round is found for Team Heretics.
Yeah, I like the change of pace as well. I think that's always a worry when you lose those first 4 rounds, that you sort of fall back into your shell a bit. You go, oh, okay, let's let them take this map control. On a map like Lotus, you can't do that. You have to challenge for space, and that initial aggression, well, they got a little bit lucky that Cena just happened to be starting out his ultimates, and they get a freebie kill, but from then onwards, it was almost like moving as a unit. Like moving as a core, just running around, taking these fights together.
Let's go, good.
You love seeing Benji getting hyped up. The smiles are out, and well, for the side of FUT, for 4 rounds, they were in the lead. Now turned to 3. Team Heretics get rifles. Ultimates start to come online, and what was a very much secured map can start to come into question. If they secure this round, though, the slippery slope is retaken by Heretics. 1 minute 30 on the clock. That A main aggression has been successful for Heretics, and FUT, they don't really manage to wrestle any control out of their opponent's hands. Pushing up on C to get an orbit is the most that the early round gets them. I have to wonder, what is their burst play? What is the execute that we're about to see happen? And well, we can already see the shift in players towards that C side of the map. Again, challenging Patatek and Benji Fishy, two players that do well, two agents at least, and utility belts that do an excellent job when defending a site.
Initiated. Placing alarm bot.
Lockdown thrown in. Not necessarily committed yet. They're waiting for someone to move off. I think Minivu's expecting someone to get there. Luckily, he's a speedster, but not quite quick enough. It doesn't matter. They will be waiting it out anyway as the full team look to come in for the retake. Ultimates available, at least in the form of overdrive for Minivu. Maybe he can try and take some space back in, but so far FUT in these afterplants have been flawless.
They have been very hard to deal with, albeit this site perhaps gives some angles they could isolate duels on. A little bit more difficult now with the Cosmic Divide. They've got to go in blind. It has allowed them to sneak around the corner a little bit, but Krax has that angle locked, even pops a molly on it. Now the flash will go through in just a moment. There it is, blinding up some players, giving them a chance on the side of FUT as they wrap around the back, give up a little bit more control in favor of taking fights together. And those fights, well, they're not going excellently. Krax and CNED, though, quickly recover, leaving it onto Patatek, having to defuse underneath both players. No utility to deny. Players close halfway already, but it's not enough. Not by a long shot. 5-1 on the board.
Yeah, there was a chance if he gets that kill onto Captain, or maybe if he just goes balls to the wall and just decides to stick it all the way.
It might have worked if he stuck it. It might have.
That's the thing, though. You have to. You understand his decision. You have to assume that someone's coming for you at this point, especially with CNED still standing. Again, though, I do feel like for the side of Heretics, it is going to be based around those early fights. Like it seems like the second the site falls to their opponents, the afterplants of FUT are just too good. There hasn't been a way back in. And even as said, when they leave a gap, it seems like they expect what's going to come on the other side. I'm liking so far, though, like the dizzy flashes seem to be really good from both teams. Like there was 3 players blinded as Heretics looked to run back into the site. Unfortunately, the other 2 won.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't get them all.
Unfortunately, not this time. Maybe it'll work out next run of it. But, you know, for the side of Team Heretics, I feel like this is a squad that I wanted to see, if they're going to succeed, start off extremely well. We wanted to see them come in hot. Now having to play from the back. The other thing that worries me is I don't see FUT feeling pretty ecstatic. They're not bouncing with energy when they're winning these rounds. If anything, I think they're kind of upset with how things have gone. Seeing it narrowed down to a 2v1, potential defuse under their nose, potential dual loss that could lead to the round falling out of their hands. You could see that they came out of it and took a sigh of relief as opposed to a cheer. Well, and that signifies to me they're not going to let this one slip.
I can actually translate. Guys is going, hey guys, you remember when I played that Rebel qualifier for you? Yeah, I was playing better than you. If you could
I'll step myself in next match.
You remember we 3-0'd that? Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have lost a round. But that's the last time we saw these two teams play, and it was very, very dominant for FUT. That's the thing. They've come in with the core of the previous team, a youngster in Yedege, who I think most people don't even look at as a rookie anymore. He is, in terms of the league, he is a rookie, but he has played so well. He's already won a trophy with them, so it's hardly in that same sort of status as the players on the other side. Again, though, this is the exact style I was looking for from Heretics. Get that early aggression, deny Mr. Fallen as well. That is the smokes on the other side gone. Of course, we know that for Heretics, they've got that double controller, but it isn't the same at the moment for FUT. So now is whether or not they're going to be able to pivot. And boo, this is a nasty surprise.
Oh!
Maybe not.
Shoulder peek actually saved Yedege's life, even allowed him to deal more damage than received. Some success from FUT also towards that A site. They managed to wrestle control out of the hands of Heretics, who've constantly been flashing and bombarding this part of the map with utility for a 3 stack on A. That's kind of been read. FUT are seeing that that space is wide open and the B site is theirs. They might even want to take it further.
Yeah, I'm also worried just how low some of the players are. Boo 2 HP, Benji on 17, like anything could take him out. Even the extra clipping you now take from the Molotov flash through, and they've taken an awful lot of space. Like, look all the way back on the A site, you've still got Ada Captain, you've got to push through the C-Link as well. Like, at the moment, Heretics on this retake are playing with no ground, but they are stacking up together. A real good chance for trades, and in fact, Minivu's going to win his second duel already.
This is where they stand the best chance up against a squad like FUT. If they can just use all their guns at once, trade off each other, and have a few missed shots. Crack's not able to hit it to start it off. This is getting a little worrying as Heretics steamroll the site and take a second round at long last. Okay, they might not have started hot, but they're warming up.
Yeah, and actually, again, it seems to be based around these sort of aggressive defensive side pushes. I'm really liking some of these early fights from Miniboo. He's someone, again, another youngster coming into the league who I think especially starting off on a defensive side Neon to kick off your career in the VCT, it's not easy. It's a real difficult thing to do, but 7 and 5 right up there at the top of the board. And he's winning a lot of these early fights. The supportive utility as well that's coming through from Rians. He's someone, I'll be honest, I'm very sad that he hasn't been able to get here because I'm really hyped to see him play. Like, I think, although we've got talk around the likes of Woot, and he might actually be the most exciting player on this roster.
Yeah, he was so much fun to watch in the home ground circuit. And, well, I'm sure we're going to get to see him make his LAN debut in some time, but for now, at least he's still able to participate. And Heretics can show all that they've been working for. So far, it's got them 2 rounds on the defense, but there's plenty more to be played for. And you can see that FUT are abandoning what has been some challenges, at least info gathering on A main, instead looking towards B. Perhaps they've sniffed out a weakness, or perhaps they just know that they can easily pivot as the round goes on.
It's patient stuff again. A lot of this map comes down to almost just baiting sound. I'm going to open the door a few times, but I think that's one of the things that's been quite cool with the usage of Dizzy. I think back to players like Cloud even using it once last season, where it's just like you just throw it straight up in the air, hope that it gives you a little bit of extra information. For now, though, once again, this B site ensues. Marian straight through the smoke has managed to pop 2 heads of the FUT side. This B site has been the least successful of the ones they've gone for so far. And in fact, if they even attempt to double back, they've got 2 players to deal with.
Yeah, and one a little closer than they'll be expecting. Miniboo has one hell of a spot here. The flash comes out, reveals him, and he's blinded, taken down. Still got one for his trouble. Despite being blinded up, Boo's even got a flash of his own, and with the paranoia in play, Mr. Fallen didn't stand a chance. Well handled by the side of Heretics, and now we're starting to see that foothold gained.
Yeah, and as I said, especially on this defensive side, the more rounds you can garner, the better spot you're going to be in. Like anything, even like a 7-5 half in favor of the attack is a very, very good half. So I think now with FUT's economy on the brink, but they do have some very solid ultimates behind them. Now, one thing I'll say with them at the moment that I understand these fast attempts into the B site, but I don't think that's been their success so far. Taking those extremities, making sure that, well, basically Heretics can't get into the position they just did, because they managed to have so much map control on that A site without FUT even realizing.
Yeah, this has been the part I feel like has been fought for, certainly on Heretics side, every single round.
Yeah.
They got pushed back once, maybe twice, but for the most part, they have held onto that tooth and nail. The 2-stack late on into the round. We're seeing it yet again over on that A site. Gecko and Omen, while the rest of the players look to rotate, reinforcing the contact that was seen on C. Door opens, though. Now it could be a B hit. They have to stay a little bit more spread. And this is where FUT like to breathe the round. Make your opponents spread out, make them worry, make them second guess, and then they can blitz into a site that's hopefully not as secure as before. But as we can see, they're still waiting, and they're in good spots.
They've not fallen for the ruse. With their aggressive spot on A as well, I think they're quite confident in that B site retake. I love the fact that FUT are just tapping that button again and again, trying to bait players in, but it has not worked. Still 2 looking to defend, but they are falling back that little bit. Now with 40 seconds left, it looks like FUT are finally going to make their move.
Flash was in, CNED's got the space. The challenge, though, tough when he's rocking that pistol. Snakebite will buy them some time, 30 seconds on the clock. The numbers advantage certainly paying off with the plant even coming through. This could get a little bit scary if they keep losing players on the side of Heretics. Down to 3 already, a 3 versus 4, and there's utility in play. FUT have got a Rolling Thunder alongside Thrash. They could keep them way back on this, and that's exactly what they're going to do, buying so much time. A paranoia comes in, it does next to nothing, and Rians, well, he almost got caught by the decoy. Instead, he grabs a kill for free. Nice one onto Cracks, but he doesn't last too much longer with another kill from the Stinger of Captain. All 3 kills have been his 4, in fact. A chance to take all 5. He's swinging and he gets it. We've just kicked off the MEA, and already your first ace from fan favorite Captain.
You can see the little smirk on his face as well. He knows that there was a little bit of BS in that one. 3 kills running in with a Stinger. You go, guys, we're eco. Let's just see what we can do. Maybe we get a plant. Maybe we do a little bit of damage. It's working better than most people's rifles. And okay, cool. There was a few good flashes in there that maybe helped him out a little bit.
Whatever.
But he's shooting it from like meters away, just having a great time. put right back on the board. And I will say that C site has been a vulnerability. Like, they have been able to get in far too easily. And so far, I feel like Benji has maybe been struggling a little bit.
Okay, flash broken. A return flash from FUT's breach as well. Tries to keep Heretics back. But look, it's just so difficult to try to wrestle the control out of their arms. CNET, what are you doing? There goes the stun. He's out.
No.
The shorty in hand. CNET, it's disgusting.
No.
Absolute filth. And now an isolated Boo. He's standing alone, taking head after head. So much damage done, but come on. How many more shots can this man hit? He's stuck in a... Never mind. What a shot from Boo. What a series of shots.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Like, the start to this round was CNID getting 2 kills, 2 players, not just one, 2 players when he's messing around in his ult. And then somehow Boo just goes, "It's all good, lads.
It's the fact
I've got this one."
They opened the door for him as well. You know, if they left that 2 seconds, everything's
he's
fine.
Just chilling.
And the door opens, he comes out, the stun hits, the shorty kills, the upgrade. And then for Boo to claim the round like that, he can basically, bar CNET, every time he fights someone, he should be fighting 2, 3 players.
Yeah.
But he gets away with it.
Now, one of the things I will say, it's a benefit of playing the Viper on this map. I don't think that ever happens. You almost always have a snake bite up on the Boo spot the Boo is currently standing on.
True, yeah.
Again, though, a pacey hit. Adacaptain, he doesn't have his stinger this time. He's got a rifle. I don't know if that's an upgrade or not. Thrash being thrown through, but again, this ult a lot of the time is just used for information. It's so weak that the bullets can take it out with too many problems. The fact is, though, Heretics have been saving those ults. They're throwing them all into the wind at this point, but there's a counter.
Yeah, the counter lockdown is quite a problem. It's going to buy them so much time. And a sneaky position being held by Adacaptain. Oh my, he was just checked, but they didn't see his head as he was crouched down behind the box. And now, as they push forward, Heretics need to be worried about their back, but they are. They won enough duels on site. They could look behind. They didn't need to worry. Now the defuse, but Yedijay just on a Sheriff. There's no way he denies it.
Yeah, really nice round. Obviously, this is more of what we expect to see. And Andaluthia flawless coming out for Heretics this time. They've really started to build into this one. Bear in mind, this was a 4-0 start for FUT, and we were almost worrying exactly what most people thought. A team that made it top 8 at Champions facing off against a team of rookies. You kind of expect an absolute slaughter. And instead now, 6-5.
I mean, we thought that this was going to be flawless on the side of FUT. A lot of people did, or close to. Instead,
I'm included.
Andaluthia flawless for Team Heretics in that round. So now, we bounce back to round number 12, the final one of the half, and some serious contention from that defender side. Not only the op on Benji Fishy that, well, maybe not as scary as I thought, but it's the ultimates in play for the rest of the squad. That Viper's pick going up could seal the fate of the side of FUT. All they need to do is deny that site control, but with CNET around, that's so difficult to do. Nice kill.
Yeah, good start. A chance to take this half in the direction we expected it. Panitek. It's a gamble and a half. Spamming through a Viper's pit with a Vandal, you basically just gave them all the information they could ever need to find you. And well, now it is just man going down and down and down. Cracks with another, leaving just Miniboo 17 HP in a 1v5, do you believe? Rebel Clutch, maybe?
Yeah, it would be impressive. It might be the play of the year before he even gets started.
Yeah, first game, we might as well throw it in.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think it was a couple of bullets away.
To be. And what's that, Tom?
It's Andaluthia, flawless.
All right, we'll get a rating from Uli and Bea later.
Oh, Bea's going to give me a 0 out of 10 every single time. There's a few
just at his fight
in there that I'm not quite getting.
I'm not sure that's what's in there. But anyways, yeah, look, a much more competitive start than most people expected. Again, you know, talking about the 2 games today, later on, there is some debate. There are some people who would see it swing the other way.
I would say, yeah, I think a lot, maybe like a 60-40, something like that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people...
debate. And
well,
I think
you predicted Casey as well.
I did predict Casey. To be honest, I even said it at the time. The reason I'm going for that is because I think more people will go the other way. But I really do think either team could take it.
Because I want to be cool.
Against the crowd.
My name's Mitch, man.
Well, no, I
did it because I'm cool.
Well, Tom, we're participating in a tournament for predictions. You know, I don't want to get eliminated. I'm taking this seriously. But
yeah, same.
But no, for the side of Heretics, not many people had high expectations.
There we go.
And now the pistol round starts out with confidence from the side of FUT. They are looking to put them right back in the dirt.
Alex, yeah, I'm back at tier 1. This is going to be fun. Just gets insta-flash and dead within 20 seconds of the round. He's the lurk player as well. And the problem now for Team Heretics, you have lost too much ground to go anywhere other than C, really. I think you can see the stack up on one side. Yedijay, the Prodigy, the young Turkish player left on this side of the map, but ultimately, just going to have to give it up. And you've got a man advantage. You don't really need to take the risk.
Cracks, Yedije, out of captain, everybody grouping up. Cned's just made it to the rest of the squad. Everybody is coming from the spawn side, bar one. Mr. Fallen, a little bit late to it, but he's regrouped as well. Lots of pistols and the numbers advantage, but will it be enough with time ticking away? FUT need to pick up the pace. That stun's not quite going to catch Miniboo, so he's still good for this fight. No flash from out of captain. He's taken out immediately, but a quick flurry of frags gives FUT the upper hand by quite a bit.
Damn.
Easily closed out in the end, 5v4, and 4 are left alive on the side of FUT. Not bad, only one man lost.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing again about the Gecko utility. That Mosh, you can just throw it into that back corner, and it not only does a little bit of tick damage now, but it forces everybody into the open. You combine that with a flash or two, which they have in spades with the breach as well. It just puts you in a position where you've got nowhere really to stand anymore. Like you can see it, they're all being forced out into these open positions. And it is quite a big surface area with the Mosh. Not quite as big as Bren was saying it is. He claimed it was bigger than Orbital Strike.
I remember that.
Because he's a bit insane. But we love you, Bren.
He's a lunatic.
But yeah, it's a great piece of utility for those retakes. And now 8-5, FUT now have themselves the second pistol. It should realistically guarantee them the victory, or at least in most cases, like getting that sort of step in front.
No, your win rate should be skyrocketing, surely. But with such a close game, and the fact that Team Heretics, the first sign of life we saw from them was all pistols, sheriffs, mind you, but they'll look to replicate it here. Very little to work with. Bye for next round. The attacking side of Heretics playing this map like a fiddle, looking for the orbs, grabbing one, and they'll start to move out. See if any others are left unguarded and untouched. Nice wall as well for A to get them up close, which is exactly what you want to do with these pistols.
Yeah, they're just getting as many orbs as possible. You can see for FUT, they're not even really looking to play the map too much just because they don't want to give any weaponry over to the other side. They're getting information each time an orb is tapped, or again, if you see the Dizzy thrown out, it's just so much for them to play with that they don't really need to move. And you can see they're set up with utility. Anybody attempts to get anywhere near this site, they're getting stunned up. Again, it's the same as last time. If they can get any kills, do any real damage here, that's great. A plant would be nice, but ultimately we don't expect much.
No, Yedije might have a challenge here. If he decides to back off, they can play the retake. If he goes down, though, now they start to get a little bit worried. Isolated duels. And that's what I was worried about. I wanted to see Yedije play for the late round, but I understand why he stays. You're only up against pistols. This time, though, Miniboo gets the better of him. The numbers advantage now staggeringly in favor of Team Heretics. And if you're FUT, you have to rely on a big individual play.
If he throws a mosh in this corner, are they just all going to run out at once? Like, they're all stuck in the back, and the flash has caught everybody. A little bit of counter utility, even still that advantage sits. The manpower is there. Now the mosh is going to go into that corner, and they can't even push out. They can't go anywhere. So he's just going to stick to the defuse. They're all coming, running back. The spam, however, has found that diffuser. It's left all onto Cracks, and Rians is going to pop his head as that. The thrifty found, and, well, Heretics have bounced back very quickly indeed.
Yeah, like I said before, it was with Sheriffs. This time, I really had very little faith in anything coming of that past damage, but for them to isolate those 2 kills so quickly as well, because Miniboo, you know, once he finds that kill, you see this swing come out, because of course your teammate's going to want to help you, and he's dropped on the spot.
I will say as well, like, if you look back at last year's Heretics, I definitely think that Boo's individual form was called into question. Now, don't get me wrong, he's back on his favorite role, and it's one map. So I'm not going to lose my mind. He's playing fantastic.
Yes.
He's had some high-impact rounds, this one being one of them, 3 kills in what was basically him playing with a classic until he got a Bulldog. He had that 4K earlier in the half. Currently sits top of the board. Like, you bring in all of this talent, and then Boo's your best player.
I really, like, I've been a fan of Boo for a long time, running back to 2020, I think, and seeing him back.
So did you like him before he was cool, is what you're saying?
No, he was cool back then, Tom. I wouldn't take that away from him. But I liked him when he was cool back in the day.
Okay.
But I'm really glad to see him find that success, maybe find that mentor kind of role on this team. So I think it's always been a little quieter.
Cned's used his ult in this round.
He has.
Quite interesting.
He's committed.
He's actually managed to get another kill. Padatek is having a bit of a nightmare, I'll be honest. Only a couple of kills on the board, but the rest of the team doing work. We're not about to see back-to-back, are we? a 2v2 scenario. Time really is ticking, though. Krax would have to do something utterly ludicrous. He has managed to find himself a rifle and can, at a minimum, make this one costly, but it's another triple kill for Boo. Moving further up the board. I believe that's his 20th kill of the game.
Not too bad. You know, in a game like this, you need a hero to step up. Everybody was counting them out, but now he's sitting nearly double the kills of his next player on the team.
What about how many more kills he got than Paditek? Is it 10 times? That's quite good.
You know, I wasn't gonna go there.
Oh, it's day one. We got to be mean. That's what they said.
Back, Paditek.
It was like the
Remember
story
last
being,
time
right?
we cast you? Sorry.
They were like, be mean. Or did they? No, actually, maybe that was it. Maybe I made that bit up. Either way.
I think you did. I think that was your own desire. You added that bit in.
8-7 though. Heretics again. They've been grinding back this comeback. An early TP, hunting for information. And Yedaje, well, he's under pressure here. Doesn't have a whole lot of support. There is a couple of utility players nearby, but he has decided, and rightfully so, I'm going to back off this one.
Spike planted.
Well, Rien's really had to back off. He's down to half, but he's got his ultimate to work with. Thrash to thrash him up. And he's from outside C. I mean, this is a very passive play. Most of that utility is going to be burned up by FUT on the way through. In fact, Thrash of their own is about to be thrown through. They're going to convert them, trade them 1-to-1. Unfortunately for Miniboo, he was not hitting his shots. Not finding Thrash, instead being thrashed by CNED. Now the side under threat, and CNED's holding up close inside the smoke. Halfway already, those spams better come through. The diffuser is so low, but it's not low enough. 1 HP with the decay that was in play, but he gets out alive.
That's a Red Bull clutch coming through for FUT, and one that, well, after all of his teammates get slaughtered on the way through, maybe not one that was deserved. The one sort of saving grace, though, for the side of Heretics is, okay, they lost the round, but you don't really lose a round where your opponents, all of them die except one, and you get to keep all of your weaponry. Like, that doesn't happen very often in Valorant. So you now look at the buy that's on the other side, and it kind of sucks.
There are weaknesses, is how I'd say. But, you know, depending on how you use them, maybe they could be advantages.
Big
Look at
Bulldog
Mr.
fan.
Fallen. Judge in play. Holding B. The fight on A for Team Heretics. They fought for it every defensive round, and they'll fight for it here on the attack. Casualties taken for FUT. It's not ideal, because if they have to retake with Mr. Fallen, he's going to need to find an upgraded weapon. Maybe he can, just outside of the stairs, but it's a tough one. You're out in the open with a close-range weapon. Your opponents will probably take you down from far away. The A site, the safest place to plant. They don't know it yet, but they'll figure it out soon. And for the side of FUT, I'd love to see what their response is going to be. For now, it's just waiting and hoping their opponents run into them, but look at the position of Yedaje. All the info's theirs now.
Take this.
The question is, he might actually be able to bypass. Yeah, he is. That Killjoy alarm bot, I believe, is offline. So he's been able to just run straight past. And I imagine Benji's going to move towards it, and that's going to sell them some false information that maybe he hasn't actually got past any of that utility yet. Definitely not ideal, but the fact is he'll have to open the door, and that will give it away. That will tell Benji. Well, I hope it does, otherwise he may have a few problems of his own.
Yeah, he'll have to go to the old ear doctor after that. The door is spinning. He has heard it. He's staring in on the angle, but he won't win the fight. 2 guns better than 1. Yedaje had his turn to back him up, but Miniboo's backing up Team Heretics. Just trying to run the clock now. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy right around the site. And it's Yedaje sticking that defuse, but he'll be caught by a wide swing, sliding in with the round success. Miniboo, 4 kills. He's chasing his brother down.
Yeah, the Boo brothers are running away with it. Honestly, I've been impressed with him. Even if you just ignore the score tally, which is absolutely fine for a duelist, he's been finding a lot of really high-impact openers. And as we mentioned already, you've come up against, I'd say, one of the harder opponents, a team that didn't change a massive amount, someone that already beat you in the off-season, and someone that, I'll be honest, most people thought you weren't going to get anywhere near. And right now, 9-8, they're on the favored side of the map. They're starting to build into this one as well after what was some back and forth. And you look at the buy that's on the side of FUT, it doesn't really get much worse.
No, it certainly doesn't. Now, in the game so far, this is where that team, who seems to be down and out, somehow pulls out a victory. But we're going to assume that that's not the likelihood here. Team Heretics have the rifles. They can work towards ultimates. Patatek just one away from a Viper's Pit. On attack side, even better. Using it on defense, you either have to gamble or you have to use it to retake when they'll often be very close by. If you'd actually get close enough to the spike or to a valuable angle, you already need to have retaken the site most of the time. When it comes to the attack, though, you just get that site control, pop it straight down, and the round now skyrockets in terms of favor for you to win it. So it could be huge for them to have that moving in to round number 19 when FUT will buy rifles. For now, they just need to make sure they don't get ecoed. And Tom, I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to sweat a little bit because Team Heretics, they had the right idea. They went to C, they saw the Killjoy, and now they're moving back to that very heavily stacked up site.
They baited the opponents. That's what they believe, at least.
Not sure
the early presence.
Fully right on that one.
Cena's looking to get up close. He's got his ult if he needs to try and reposition, and it's perfect. The wingman is a distraction. Boo again. Oh, sorry, Mini Boo again. Is going to be the one to get the opener. I think he's going to have the majority of the first bloods in this game. And now, well, any belief that you may have had for this round to go wrong should be at almost zero.
CNED, Yedege, Ada Captain, all tagged so low as well. Might even start to think about just grabbing those exit kills. Again, we talk about damage being in the conversation in this round. The Team Heretics have a lot of credits built up as well. I mean, it would have to be a lot of damage for those ripples to be felt later on. Benji the first to fall, Rian's also. There's still time if they get on it very imminently, and I don't think that's going to happen. Another for Mini Boo. 3 kills as he works his way towards the ultimate he just used not that long ago. And it's going to be nice and easy to round it out. A clean round as we equalize things 9-9.
Yeah, especially with how it could have gone. I think Heretics will be fairly happy with that. Still losing a couple of players, a couple of ult orbs facing in the other direction, but now we look towards FUT to see if they actually have a response, because I think something that's actually gone very well for Heretics so far is, again, just this sort of pack builder. Just moving as a unit. They've left the odd lurk here and there, but for the most part, they've just been basically keeping things quite simplistic. Like just going, okay, let's just trade things out together. And so much so that Guys is going to be given an opportunity to try and talk things through with his roster. As you mentioned, this is, I guess, the first proper full buy that they'll have. Rifles on the board, a couple of ultimates available as well, but the same can be said on the other side. Patatek now coming in with that Viper's Pit. If they can get into a post plant, that's not going to be easy to deal with.
Yeah, it's like we're saying, this is the problem if Team Heretics are so comfortable grouping up, moving to a site. They probably will get in there, wrestle that control out of your hands. For FUT, they have so much to discuss. But at the same time, Rolling Thunder can help them out, keeping them back, pushing them out of a Viper's Pit, getting their retake to have that little bit of a bounce to it, some energy to kick it off. We'll see if they can pack that punch that they very much need to coming into this round. Both teams will have rifles, but Heretics are the only ones with a safety net to fall back on. The favored side, the favored economical position. Looks like Heretics have really turned this one around.
Yeah, it does look as well like we're going to see a little bit of like this aggressive position in the middle, just being built up around that B site. You can see already with like the fault line being built in just to try and give that extra little space if there's anybody there. CNED actually trying to force them back. He's almost trying to move them here. This is a set play being set up by his team. It's just if he can give anybody that extra little bit of information to find a frag. You can see he's even got a ping on the map at the back. Unfortunately, though, I think maybe just spotting like, I see the guys, there's 4 people here. Maybe don't peek into that one.
I think he even might have seen all 5, did he, on the way through? It's hard to tell with that kind of pace, but I'm sure someone on the server's tracking it. And with that, I guess maybe giving them the comfort to push up on B, but that's about it. They've reset into the late round, 1 minute on the clock. Team Heretics, again, just grouping up 4 players, looking to try and get control over C. You know, looking to grab the orb, in fact, and then they're not sure. They're still deciding. With 45, they've got a bit of time, but, well, time to make it pretty snappy pretty soon.
Yeah, they've done decently well with their takes. The stuns to the back of sight. It's not really a position that we've seen anybody play thus far. I think a couple of aggressive pushes from Benji earlier in the game, but it didn't really play too much. It's mostly been a C-site retake, and both teams have been good in the post plant. The Rolling Thunder makes it different. Yedajay, the focus was elsewhere, and he gets a freebie and stunned at the back of the site. Rians needs some help. They are blinded in so many different forms. This retake looks great from FUT so far, but there's still members standing, hoping to maybe try and spam through here. But the fact is that defuse is coming again. They have not been able to stop it any time on this C site. And it is, well, a very clean round in the end. Paditek, in fact, his lurk just a little bit too far behind.
I have to wonder, you know, when they planted that spike, did you see where Paditek was standing?
No.
Let me, after our little replay, I'll show you. Because it was not an ideal spot. The rotation time is, you know, a little bit excessive. A little bit excessive. So when they popped the spike down, he was right about, never mind.
They do not want you drawing on this map.
It's cool, this is a timeout, it's fine.
Oh, this is,
but no, he was over on A,
Mitch
basically. He was at A main. And you know, you could see that it took him so long to get over there and all these sort of things. I think the idea at the start was him to put the wall up, try to lurk towards A. I heard him fire, I think it was him firing a few shots. So he's trying to make that noise and get them to rotate, even just get the killjoy to move a couple steps away so you could burst in. But the problem then is, you know, this is the guy we're talking about having that Viper's Pit, having the ability, once you get in, lock it down, but instead he's miles away. And I think removing himself from the combat like that, it's not what I want to see. It's a hiccup in timing and spacing of the round. No doubt that's a lot of what Team Heretics are discussing here. And, you know, you want to make sure maybe you're slowing down the push a little bit. Maybe whatever you're doing, it needs to incorporate that Viper's Pit next round, I'd hope. Although they have a lockdown now, so, you know.
I will say that the thing that's been really cool with these C-site takes from both sides, like be it in the retake or the initial take, is that there's so much utility that's available. Like you've got those stuns into the backside. I think the Mosh is being used really effectively just to clear out such a big space. And then on the retakes, I've actually really enjoyed what we've seen from Adacaptain, whether it be with his ultimate or the stuns, because it just leaves you basically in a position where you're getting hit by something. You have to choose what you want to be hit by, and even if you dodge all of it, then you have a Dizzy coming through and you're completely blind. It's so difficult to play against.
So they're running back the similar strat, 4 towards C, grabbing the spike, but this time they're doing it with 5. So Paditek's going to be here. You know, some of that slowing utility maybe will help out, but it's the pit. Now, the problem is obviously a lockdown on the defensive side, but we just saw Benji Fishy grab his ult orb, so now they can counter lockdown, and that could help a lot with keeping that pit up. If they do decide to go for it, maybe they've got a different idea. Having found so much space for free, they reshift their focus. Paranoia deep, push into spawn, and FUT, they better get their guns out soon when they round this corner. I'm not sure they'll expect them to be this close. Maybe the one-way will give it away, but it's been thrown there before and there weren't players around. Not that deep.
Yeah, the fact is for Miniboo, it was, okay, if I can get something and get away. Now you're going to see that lockdown. It actually clears out the backlines. It is not really to do much more. The Viper's Pit is not within it, so they can still stick pretty much within this site, and the trades are going effectively, at least for the moment. Adacaptain's going to be able to find one, but the fact is a couple of the attackers are detained. Paditek needs to get something, and the flash is sublime. The remaining players were out the back of the site, but the defusal hasn't been coming. The fact is, though, they could just deny it completely. They have themselves the Cosmic Divide, and Mr. Fallen's on the other side with the judge. It's absolutely filthy. The question is the time, and oh no, they don't have it. 0.07.
I thought that was locked down.
Oh, that is so ridiculously close.
Oh. I mean, look, the round that was in it, it's got cheers out of Benji, that's for sure. What an incredibly messy round, let's say. I think, you know, even playing close there from Paditek, he runs up to try and challenge inside the pit, losing those extra seconds, losing the extra decay, because the players are just stepping in as opposed to having been in the pit for quite a while. That was a risky play, and the flash was perfect to catch him, but I didn't expect it to end up flipping hands like that right at the end.
Yeah, they didn't manage to get the nano swarms off of the spike, but I believe they didn't matter anyway, because I think he would have had it. Unbelievably close, but the scoreline will be leveled up. 10-10, a battle, a brawl in our first map, and an exciting way to kick off VCT EMEA 2024. For now, though, it's back to more patient play. You have to bear in mind, both teams basically have just spammed their ults for that last round. There is nothing left on FUT side. And, okay, Boo can TP. If that's something that you're excited by, might be watching the wrong game.
Get that one in the highlights.
Cover going on.
Heretics all grouped up on A this time. It's going to be the same old strat.
Spike
Move
down
together.
A.
I'm out of here.
And just knock them down like dominoes. Ooh, Mini Boo just making it through the door. That was cinematic. Wall up, so no angle for Mr. Fallen to compete on. He'll try to spam, but he spammed right back. 3 players stood there, guns raised, ready for that fight. Benji on another fantastic shot out of this man, and that has put a spanner in the works. Cracks and out of captain, left to do it all. With the spike only being planted, it's not like they're running out of time.
Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
That could be a big problem. Oh, it's gone the wrong way, but it's okay.
For information, maybe expecting them to be a little bit closer. Again, all segmenting themselves in towards tree. This is something that clearly is planned by Heretics each time. Happy to just sit in this back corner. The peak together is perfect, and that's been the main talking point of this team. They are moving as a unit. They are peaking together. They are believing in the cause as well. And now they take themselves the lead for the first time in this matchup. Not a point I expected to be in, but they are looking fantastic. Like, look at the scoreboard at the moment. It is individual round after individual round for the side of FUT. They have not been able to string anything together.
And the worst part about that is their economy is just being destroyed. They're in a position now where they can barely afford to invest into pistols, let alone light shields or anything like that. You've got Ada Captain and Mr. Fallen coming in without them. What a pace change from the 4-0 start. FUT looking good. One shaky that was a shaky
You're going to try something risky around like this.
For sure. You got a pistol, why not? And it's worked for him sometimes.
Oh, yeah. The shorty play earlier was enough to make me believe in CNED's Yoru, but now at least it's still going to be the advantage in favor of Heretics. You expect them to get onto map point here with the weaponry that they have available to them. Not much utility either for the side of FUT, and they're spread across the map. Yadajay, probably the only one that can really put any sort of spanner in the works, but that's the thing with Heretics. They've been so patient so far. They've been happy to let that clock run down. They've been happy to continuously change up their direction late into the round, and now with a slow walk, they've tapped that door, but it has not really baited things out here. 2 players are heading in the right direction.
Yeah, hearing that turret sitting outside C, you sort of start to get the idea. Maybe Yedajay was calling it over to Mr. Fallen and Ada Captain. The stun goes in. Nice stun. It's caught them. 2 quick kills. Another followed up on. Mr. Fallen goes down to the snake bite. But he might have done enough with Benji Fishy alone. Having to plant this spike, there's nowhere safe in his mind to do it. These players could be anywhere. He knows where one is. But the other evaded him up until now. Yedajay about to round the corner, and he's going to catch him unaware. Oh, no! It's a complete whiff. Benji Fishy, 49 HP and a dream. It's not going to work out. A nightmare for the squad of Heretics. This could have been them 12-10. Oh, knocking on heaven's door instead. They're neck and neck with one hell of a fight to close out this map yet to come.
I can't believe they've taken that. That was 4 players, or at least 3, walking into that C site, and they lose to basically a singular flash and some sheriffs. It really does show that FUT can pull something out of absolutely nothing, and that has got to be infuriating. As we mentioned, like that would have been map point on their choice as well. Bear in mind, bind up next is chosen by FUT, and guys, I don't know if that was a sigh of relief or maybe the stress after the whiff. Heretics themselves now going to take a pause. They do still have finances, Mitch, but only for this round.
Yeah, I mean, again, you talked about that timeline earlier, but FUT won a round, lost 2, won a round, lost 2, won a round, lost 2. They've just won a round, and there's 2 left to play for. Heretics calling a timeout now to make sure that pattern continues in just the way they want it. And the credits, they are a little shaky for both sides. A lot of those credits are going to be put on the line here, and whoever loses this round could be struggling to put a strong buy together in the next.
Yeah, this really is a crucial time. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Heretics hadn't taken a pause, if FUT had. Like, you win a round like that, even still for Yedajay, it looked a little bit shaky. It can happen, but you've got to make sure as a coach that, especially with someone like him, recently turning 18 years old, like you need to make sure that that hasn't got in his head. I don't believe it will. We've seen him play on the stage, and as you can see, he looks as calm as ever. But the fact is, especially for Heretics, I think getting a map in this series will already be a great start for them, just to prove that They are here to compete within the league this year, and up against one of the teams that could even be in with a shout of making it to Masters Madrid, the ultimate goal at this kickoff event. For now, though, look at the push from FUT. They have gone all the way through this C site, but in the meantime, under pressure, it's the man I just mentioned, and he's gone within a second.
He's done his damage, though. A player worth of damage, I suppose. But the problem is, whenever Team Heretics are able to wrestle that control out, run their trades, or just clean take the fights and gain control of site, they're not letting it slip. But Boo, familiar position, open the door, he calls, the utility's on its way, he needs to get out of there, and he has.
I love it.
That's very nice teamwork. Even the flash just to buy him a little bit of extra time. It will be returned on the other side.
Look at Mini Boo.
Not much to do.
Mini Boo's in such a ratty little position, but they're all going to go wrapping past. The Viper screen is almost a bit of bait just to give him some space. The question is, do they check for him? No, they don't. He's going to clear out a couple on their way back in. It leaves just Ada Captain and Wild. Good luck. Up against the lockdown. There's nothing to be found. And Benji, well, he has had a huge step up over the last few. A quiet start to this game, but actually, I think he's had a better attack.
You know, the off season, or even looking further, back to the last time we saw him over here in Berlin, Tom, he hasn't had a great time down there on the stage in a lot of the matches he's had. Now, well, not just him, it's his team, you know, they haven't found their success. Now hitting their stride up against one of the strongest teams that we saw in the MEA last year. We talked about their consistency. We talked about how they just keep on getting better. It looks like Heretics have been doing exactly the same. They've made good use of their off-season time, and now just one round away from claiming victory. Nice position from CNED, but the shots aren't there. We talked about the weaponry. It's just not strong enough for a lot of these fights, and they are overwhelmed, leaving Yedege and Mr. Fallen to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a miracle. Yedege is only just starting his rotation, but that again, as said, like, I don't think Heretics have been a roster that have been just too quick to move. They're happy to just pause, hit the brakes. Boo's calling this game has been sublime, and well, now you can see the doubts. Yedege's gone all the way back to the A site. He's still sitting on tree, just waiting for that rotation to come through. Mr. Farland's going to try and buy as much time as humanly possible. Well, he's pulled in Wingman at least, but other than that, all of his utility's gone. He's just going to have to hit the shots, and he does. That first kill has gone his way. He's even dinked up a second. Somehow the IGL might just be the hero that they need.
Oh! Now there's a real chance. I mean, he's backed out, he's bought time. The rotate from Yedege, it's going to be so long before he gets here. Maybe they walk back into him. As players on Heretics, there's no easy choice for Boo and Patatek. Where do you take it on this one? Both smokers left alive, 2 snake bites to play with. You probably want to be around Mound. It's a good position, but it's out of position to stop that defuse. That's so unfortunate for Yedege. With 86 HP, Mr. Fallen, 2 kills already. There's the third. He's only got 1 more, but Patatek's full. 150, a tough series so far, but he'll save them. Heretics find their map pick. Lotus is in the bag, and a much different start to their season than most people at home expected. They've got 2 chances to close it out and, well, defeat FUT in a best of 3.
Yeah, definitely not something we were expecting, and as said, the Boo brothers have had a fantastic day at the office. 26, 22 kills apiece. Just fantastically well done. Either way, we're going to be heading things off to a short break, and then we will be going over to the desk.
I know a place that will break you into 1,000 pieces. Stay away from them. Stay away from